Hey, can I ask you a question? Ew. Welcome back to the garage. So today we're going to try and turn this pickaxe that I got from my grandma's garage into something else. I don't know what that is yet. I don't know how easy this will be to work with, and I'm not entirely sure how this material will react to forging, or if I have enough of it for what I have in mind. But what I'm aiming for is some sort of camp knife or machete. So what I'm going to just start by doing is just forging this down into a shape, into square stock, and then we'll go from there. So this is going to be one of those things where if you want to make something out of this, you're going to have to break the spirit. It does not respect you. This is one tough lump of Will this be the last stand of the anvil thing? Gotta get this guy nice and hot, that's for sure. Okay, so the rough forging is now complete. I could have taken it mortar size, but I want room to grind it out, and this is also just getting really tiring. This was a pretty mean bit of steel to move. So originally I was going to do a machete, but I don't think I'll have enough material here. Machetes are quite thin, but I would need to draw out like another 5 inches to get to a decent length. So I think I'm gonna make like a tactical kind of sci-fi in between a combat knife and a like camp knife. So like a chopping kind of aggressive weapony sort of knife. Okay, so I need the welder and fill in these little cold shuts here. This part of the dart doesn't have to be heat treated, so the filler wire is completely fine. All that actually matters is the blade. Really, the edge is the only thing that has to be hardened, so it's fine to just fill these in. This is mostly decorative. So here the camera decided that the bucket was really where the action was. I swear I focused the camera for the shot on the thing I was welding, but here we are. You just now have to trust me that it was the most beautiful weld that's ever been made. As always, of course. Okay, it's another day. We've got this guy out of the heat treat oven, or, just the oven. I took on a little warp, but I think I can get that out. For a while I've been really going back and forth on how I want to finish this, as far as hand sand it, or etch it, or sandblast it, spray paint it, whatever. But seeing as I'm gonna have to take like 1mm off every surface on this thing anyway, I think I'm just gonna go ahead and spray paint it now, and I'll see if I like the look of that, and if I don't, then I won't do that. That seems like the easiest solution to me. Okay, so we have the blade ground, and now it's time for hand sanding. I ended up spray painting it just as a test before I did anything fancy with it, because I wanted to see how that would look, because I was considering it as like the sort of tactical, modern kind of look, and I just didn't like it. This is too much work to just have look kind of cheap and painted. So I am going to hand sand this beast. That is going to take a while, I promise you, but I think it's going to be worth it in the end. I think it's going to look really cool. I'm going to hand sand it, and then I'm going to acid etch it, and we'll have this kind of gunmetal gray shiny thing. Because I'm noticing that more people click on my videos if the thing in the thumbnail is shiny, because I guess people are like birds. I think we can knock this out in an hour if we do like a hand sanding montage. Cue the Rocky music. Okay. Oh, I hate hand sanding. Check this out. See that? That's a whole 3 inches of one bevel. Some would say that's a lot. Whew. Okay, let's go check on the meat. Nice. You got that bark on it.
One eternity later.
The steel seemed to be very shallow hardening, which made sense for a pickaxe, so it got this beautiful hamon. What I was wondering about was this pattern that formed on the side, this bumpy pattern of dots. At first I thought that might have been bubbles from the quench, but I think that was actually from when I was straightening it out with the carbide hammer. I think I ended up driving soft steel into the hard steel, or vice versa, which made that pattern after I ground everything flush and etched it.